And I found this wonderful thing here. Thunder Bay, where living in the moment lasts a lifetime. Here is where I found myself. Visit Thunder Bay. And this is summer, and I'm going to show you Thunder Bay winter. Now, what we're looking at here is the Thunder Bay Marina. This is the Ontario government building here. We have the Ontario flag on the right, and the Canadian flag is on the left, and it's all kind of twisted, all jumbled up, signifying to me, well, both those flags are, they're not flying true. They're all wrapped, I don't know, they're not flying right. Okay, in the distance we have the Sleeping Giant, Sibley Peninsula. So right close by here, we have the Inner Harbor, where there's a rock breakwater out there. And then beyond the breakwater, we have got Lake Superior. And it's very difficult to tell. But we think Lake Superior seems to be still open water. We saw it open water a few days ago. And so there's a nice bridge that walks across from the Prince Arthur Hotel over to Prince Arthur's Landing. There's a skate park right there and other parks. And then we have grain elevators. Thunder Bay is a famous place for transshipping Canadian Gruyere Preens to the rest of the Wains. Okay, what else did I tell you about today? Well, we're going to go back to here. Living in the moment lasts a lifetime. Okay, that's my talk, and we're going to talk here in the mirror talking. Okay, so what do we want to tell you? Well, mostly with mirror talking, I'm trying to get to look up here more. I don't know, because I'm looking down. Okay, being in the moment, what do we need to know? Well, I don't know everything. Because our mental minds need to be reprogrammed. Well, it's a desperate need for reprogramming our mental minds because our mental minds have what Scientology calls reactive mind. Reactive mind is as soon as you hear something, you immediately have a pat answer that comes up. It's the traditional answer, and it's old and stale in many cases. In many cases, it's incorrect. And sometimes, if it's the word no, then it becomes impossible to have a conversation ever again with people who consistently refuse to share. Which is like, our original programming was in kindergarten, share. And, all these years later, people won't share. Mostly they won't share about themselves, about what's going on with them, how they feel. And, a lot of times it's like people won't share what questions they have about life that aren't being answered. A lot of times what I get, I don't know, let's go back. Living in the moment. Well, who isn't living in the moment? I don't know. People who have already got the psychology armor up. It's like so-and-so is going to contact me. Well, well, do you treat so-and-so when they text you different than a text from your mother? Well, everyone does. Why? Well, everyone has a different um, telephone exchange operator number, please, lady, who takes your calls, and somebody decides if you're going to take that call or not. Why? Because somebody probes to see, okay, well, what's this call all about, or this text all about, and what's behind it? And in many cases, if it's a call from me, it's about, hey, fuckface, it's time for you to wake up. I've been waiting for you to do your spiritual awakening now for, I don't know, 25 years, and it still hasn't happened, and I'm quite worried. I mean, it's like, when you get to be, I don't know, 13 years old, and, you haven't started puberty, and then you start going to see the doctor trying to figure out if I got a glandular problem. because it's a normal stage of human development, is, around the age of, I don't know, let's say 10 to, I don't know, 13, you have puberty. And then you have enormous growth spurt and you become sexually mature and, secondary sexual characteristics. I mean, that's normal stage. Another normal stage that people don't know about, that we learned from the Canadian psychiatrist, what was his name? Anyway, he was way down in southern Ontario, 1902 thereabouts, and he wrote a book called Cosmic Consciousness. And he talked about this change in consciousness that comes on, let's say, between ages 30 and 55. And what is that? It's cosmic consciousness. It's a new kind of consciousness. A prime example would be poet Walt Whitman. Now, he was, I don't know, the 1800s. So, I mean, it's well established that intelligent people get cosmic consciousness. And in the book, this psychiatrist said, well, he went throughout history, way back in history, to the time of like the Prophet Muhammad, Jesus, John the Baptist, Sir Francis Bacon, Roger Bacon, famous Britishers. Well, it was so many people, and he said this is what's supposed to happen in modern man. In the past, in primitive man, people didn't get to that stage for whatever reason, but he said, and this was written, 122 years ago, this book. So, I mean, this is established as the next stage in human development, developing cosmic consciousness. Well, who else dedicates the later years of their life towards this? People in India, in traditional India. That's what they do. After people have got the empty nest and the children are all grown up, then, then it becomes more of a monastic life and dedicated to God or whatever it is. I don't know, whoever they revere in different sects and things. But that's what you're supposed to do later in life. You're supposed to dedicate that, and you're supposed to be rewarded with cosmic contact. Making contact with your holy guardian angel. That's even Aleister Crowley, for crying out loud. I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere, all kinds of different places. So if you haven't had a spiritual awakening, well, then, why not? You're putting it off. And then living in the moment, well, is she having a spiritual awakening or not? No, she's a Thunder Bay girl, she hasn't. Because people in Thunder Bay haven't found themselves. I know people in Thunder Bay. They don't find themselves here. Where did I find myself? Here, there, and everywhere. I don't know. Why do we think that she hasn't found herself? I don't know. Because people in Thunder Bay are still insisting on wearing masks and taking more and more vaccines. They're totally, that is not spiritual at all. That is like, so who is here? Well, Bobby Burrows is here in Thunder Bay. What is he? Well, most people say he's a fuckface because he's the person that invented the term fuckface. So there he is right there, there is the ultimate fuckface, the one who named the name fuckface. To me, low-vibe people, especially people, under 200, but, everybody under 500 on the scale of human consciousness is a fuckface. Well, let's just put it, like if you have your gas tank gauge on your truck, and E is empty and F is full. Okay, on the scale of human consciousness, how much gas have you got in your tank? Your tank doesn't go to 100. I mean, theoretically, a physical human being, at the time of Dr. Hawkins, it maxed out at 100%. Nowadays, some people have broken that and they found ways of extending the tank. But, in those days, 100. People in North America, on average, I don't know. Let's see if I can do a muscle test here. Okay, we're going to do a muscle test. I don't know if you can see this or not.